Okay, anyways, we're going on to Tanner's pick of the week here. We've got the 1978 3-fucking-hour-long film, Superman.
That's right, guys. It's Superman. Now, Superman is the story of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Man of Steel, as it were.
Well, not back then, but...
And that's all there is to this movie.
Anyways, on to the ranks, boys.
So, I gave this movie... Dylan, what'd you think of Superman?
I actually really enjoyed this movie. To be honest, I enjoyed more of, like, the civilian life Superman shots than anything else. It added a lot of character to Superman, because I think one thing that people constantly forget is, like, they only see Superman as a super strong, super invincible dude who could shoot lasers out of his eyes and cold breath out of his face and all that shit.
They forget he's also a person and not some omnipotent god to fear and worship.
They forget the man part, if you will.
The whole thing they had, so, I don't know, and I think, what was this movie, like 1978 or something weird like that? It
was a 1915 movie.
It was hit or miss on the effects. The effects were either really good or they really were not good. A couple of the not good moments that stand out to me were where the fucking flood was careening down the ravine, and Superman was just pushing a bunch of rocks to, like, block it. And I get they had to work with what they had, but, like, it just looks so fake. I couldn't not ignore it, because it's literally just a bunch of little pebbles, and it's literally just close-up shots.
Dude, how the fuck are you not using him flying constantly as the example of really bad practical effects in the fucking rocks thing? That thing is funny as shit.
I think compared to the rocks thing, the flying didn't look as bad.
No way. How about him running against the train?
Yeah, the running when he was a kid, that was fucking hysterical.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I looked at that and I was like, I don't think any normal person runs like that. Like, why would they make him run like that?
He runs like a fucking Muppet.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of goofy. But yeah, I don't know.
In my opinion, the flying really varies in how good it looks. There are some scenes where the flying, I think, looks pretty solid, and then probably most of the time when he's flying, it looks bad. But I think there are points where you're like, okay, cool, that looks like decent, like, he's flying, I get it.
Fine for its time.
Yeah. A mistake they were making a lot is they were forgetting to make the cape flutter. It's just like sitting flat against his back and he's doing this or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
Did you like when he, like, flew all around the world, though? That was pretty sweet.
I was actually like, this actually looks pretty good for 1978.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't look terrible, in my opinion.
Yeah, they just, like, set a globe up and, like, recorded it spinning around a little bit. Then they just, like, reversed that image, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You also just reminded me, they, I don't even know if I'm going to use this word properly. They retconned their own movie in their own movie, with the whole time travel thing. You know, Lois Lane, like, died in the car. One, he could have just flown her to a hospital or something.
That was pretty fucking dark.
Yeah. So instead they just had him fly in reverse to, like, reverse time. And, then we're just made to assume that all of the events he had stopped prior to that event just were stopped. Even though, obviously, what he did was fly back enough time to be there to save her. But, like, if you think about it, all the things that reverse, like the dam breaking and all that shit, all that still happened. Are we just supposed to assume
I think we're supposed to assume that he, like, his past self is still there to stop it, or
I don't
something.
know. That's some time travel bullshit that I don't agree with.
Yeah, that was pretty silly.
So, I was like, you guys can't reverse time, have him be here, and just assume all that other stuff is fine because he fixed it in the past. That's not how the time travel works in any fashion of the mind.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice to see, like, what daily life was like for these folks back then, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just seeing all these people fucking smoking everywhere. All the... just, like, the general fashion of the time. I think just little time capsules like that are neat to see.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Overall, what did you think of it, Nico?
This movie was fucking boring.
Yeah.
This shit was slow. There's barely any Superman action going on. I fucking passed out during portions of this movie.
You literally fell asleep at the very end.
Don't worry, I was awake to see him spin around the world, though. That's all that really matters.
Yes.
But you weren't awake to see him lift the tectonic plates.
Yeah, that's not how science works. They had a lot of nonsense That was another one of the effects I thought was bullshit. That's not how earthquakes work.
You know. Jackson, what were your overall thoughts on the movie?
I did not like this movie very much. I'm with Nico on thinking that it is very slow, and I was hoping the extended cut was going to fix issues with the movie. I think it probably was more of a detriment for us to watch that version than the regular one.
It definitely lingered.
I legitimately don't even know what was added to the extended cut. I assume it was probably like that was the main cut, and then the rest was just like trimming down the main
40
cut.
whole minutes of nonsense.
Literally, from what I read, the extended cut, it isn't really that like whole scenes or set pieces were added. It was just kind of like every scene was a bit longer. Like there's an extra line of dialogue kind of sprinkled throughout. So the events of the movie themselves are not really all that different.
Yeah, so even looking past the horrible pacing issues this movie has, it's also just really goofy, and as a non-Superman, or generally just a non-superhero fan in general, this movie really just doesn't do it for me. Mostly just with, like, motivations and stuff. I don't know, why the fuck did he, like, randomly just grab the crystal out of the ground and, like, I'm gonna fucking walk to the North Pole? What inspired that? I know his dad died, he wanted to do something, but, like, why there?
Yeah.
What, did I miss something? Why
I don't think you did.
It's his Superman sense.
Yeah.
He's got a genetic sense that he has to go throw that crystal in water.
Yeah, Lex Luthor is a fucking not a very good villain. He's really goofy. I don't know why.
He's not threatening whatsoever.
It's so weird. Obviously, Superman's powers, like with the other Superman movie we saw, are incredibly inconsistent. You're telling me this guy can fucking do laps around the planet insanely fast, but like there's that scene where he's trying to catch up to the missile and he's like barely keeping up with it. What the fuck is that? He should be able to go to that missile, stop it immediately, fly to the other one in like a millisecond and be done with it, and then just like it's not an issue at all.
I'm glad I'm not the only
also,
one
the time reversing thing is fucking stupid as shit. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck was going on at the end. Honestly, you guys have like your theories about like there being another Superman. I think it was just he like did all the stuff in the correct order the second time maybe, and then went to save Lois Lane afterwards. But it's like unexplained and it's weird and it's just kind of jarring. Obviously, the practical effects for the time I think they look okay, but obviously nowadays they look pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the acting was anything really that crazy either. Generally, this is a pretty bad movie for me, though.
Yeah. I think this movie has some charm, but
like how sexually charged it is.
Yeah, that was weird. It has some charm, but there's just far too much fluff and filler. Pretty much all of the Krypton stuff should just get cut out of the movie entirely. I don't need all this backstory about the Council of Krypton and whatever the fuck. Most of the Smallville stuff could have been truncated. The best parts of this movie is when Superman is doing Superman things, you know? Like that little montage where it's like the first time he's ever doing his powers and he's just, you know, stopping a robber here, helping that cat out of the tree, this, that, and this. That was my favorite part of the movie. I wish there was more of that in it.
Which is funny because those parts of the movie are incredibly separate from like the rest of it. Like it's just us watching Superman do Superman shit that have no bearing to the plot whatsoever.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I'd say the biggest positive I can give it is I think Christopher Reeve is a really good Superman and a really good Clark Kent. I really like his portrayal of the character at the very least.
Yeah, when he's Clark Kent, he becomes such a bitch.
Yeah. It's funny. I like it.
Yeah. It was nice seeing that, though. It was an interesting change of pace.
I think it really does lead more credence to the idea that, like, oh yeah, why would anyone think that this fucking meek bastard is Superman?
Mm-hmm. This guy who's tripping over himself and whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and then Lois Lane's like, yeah, you never see Clark Kent, and then she, like, immediately puts it together. It's like, no, I don't know. I thought that was kind of dumb.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess let's move on to the ranking.
Yeah, sure. Why not, dude? You want to kick us off?
I'm gonna give this one a flat C.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. Dylan,
personally, I gave it a flat D. Personally,
damn
get fucked, Dylan. I beat you to it.
You son of a bitch! I want to give it a flat D. Dylan, what are you giving it?
I've been given a lot to think about here. You know, I'll give this movie a B minus.
That's absurd.
The crowd's in awe. Anyways, that puts Superman the movie at a C minus.
I thought Tanner was gonna rank this higher than me for like 100%.
Well, you see, Dylan,
I mean, you know, Tanner's a little delusional when it comes to these movies, but it's not that delusional.
I can be fans of things and still analyze them critically, you know? Like with Jurassic Park, for example, my favorite movie, but I think most of the series is dog shit.
Anyway.